And we're live on video. This is the Joe and Babe Show on QTalk America. I'm Joe DeGanzik.
And I'm Babe Kaler.
And today, this is the first day we're live on video. And the first day I've been in the studio for a couple weeks due to the day job.
We missed you.
Thank you, babe.
We missed you. We really did. We had fun, but we did.
You did, and I listened to little bits and pieces of things when I was sitting there plugging in computers at the office. A job, and I'll get to this in a little bit. A job that I don't have to do for much longer, which is totally awesome.
I know you're excited about that.
I am super excited.
Okay.
It's like crazy excited.
Yeah, cool. Well, we missed you. I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad I'm back too.
All
and
right.
As usual, just because of working 21 days straight, we're still scrambling to catch. I'm still scrambling to catch up, but we managed to kind of get this whole thing together.
Up
here,
and running. Okay,
somehow.
Because for those who are listening and aren't
watching,
because you can see us live, and I even have on my new sunglasses today.
She does.
Just so you all
I've got
can see
my
in studio.
Nyan Cat rainbow shirt on.
Okay, see, so we are ready for this new
go.
venture.
If you're listening live and you can't find the video, go to QTalkAmerica.com. Whether you're desktop, mobile, whatever, you'll find the watch video link. If you're on mobile, you want a dedicated experience, download the Ustream app. It's free, and search for QTalk America, and you'll find us. And of course, this show will be posted to YouTube within a few hours of us off the air. So there's always a way to find us, see us, whatever.
I know.
QTalkAmerica.com is your source for everything. So, since we have this lovely guest who raced over here, why don't we at least kind of introduce him, get him on camera at least, and go from there. Why don't you do the honors, babe, while I push some buttons here?
Well, actually, we're honored because this is our second time now that you've been in studio with us, right?
That is true.
And we have Kit, and I can never say it correctly. So please, sir, say your last name correctly for me.
It is Kloeckl.
Right. See, and Kit Kloeckl.
I'll give you a little clue. My mother was an English teacher, and she always told her students, it's Kloeckl rhymes with freckle.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's perfect.
That's really good.
Now, did I get the spelling right on the screen?
Exactly.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, so that's really good. And he is here today from Aunt Rita's.
Yes.
Aunt Rita's Foundation, and we're going to talk about the Savor for Life Phoenix event coming up, the soiree. But
the whole month as well.
Month, yes.
It's actually, since we just turned over the month.
Right, and starting on the 1st, you've been a busy man already because people are already getting started and planning events are planned and happening.
That is true. We actually launched SAVORlife on Thursday, February 28th, with what we called Leap into SAVORlife. We have two of our very good friends, Tico's Restaurant and the Coronado Cafe, that donated 25% of all of their proceeds for lunch and dinner to Aunt Rita's Foundation to support SAVORlife. So that's how we launched the month.
Congratulations on that. That's really good, getting community support, from the start. Just like bam,
absolutely.
Bam, that's really good. So welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much.
Studio space.
I love the new studio. It's great.
Thank you. We're pretty excited.
We are pretty excited, and
yes, we are.
We'll go into more details, but we're counting down the days now. It's going to be about almost just over 3 weeks until we actually have our grand opening event, Tuesday night, March 26th. So the public can come and check everything out. So we're excited to kind of be, and obviously now that we've opened everything up on video, we can't just hide behind the microphones anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I
You gotta
know.
do and of course I've still been in bike mode for a little bit, so it's like my hair is all kind of screwy.
Well, and
everything.
mine is too. You know,
I
didn't have a chance to comb it.
It's perfect all the time, kid.
That's great. That's great. So there's so much going on with you and the organization and the growth. Tell us what's new.
Well, it's a very exciting time for Aunt Rita's Foundation, and of course last year on World AIDS Day we launched Red Brunch, which was just such a tremendous success. I was so pleased with the event and how it turned out. We had almost 1,000 people at the Sheraton celebrating
fantastic.
World AIDS Day, and we brought in portions of the quilt for it to be a part of the brunch, and then also for a free event after, because it's our belief that no one should have to pay to see the quilt. It should be open to the public. So we had a free event after. And so that sort of ended our year, and then we immediately began working on Savor Life. And of course, AIDS Walk goes 12 months out of the year. So we continually work on that. But now this month we're focused on Savor Life.
Okay.
And Savor, for people who are listening to us and watching us outside of Phoenix, I guess you could virtually have people virtually participated in Savor Life, like outside of the area. I mean, obviously you're not going to turn down people,
Well, I wouldn't necessarily. I know that people from out of town donate. We haven't had anybody host a dinner that wasn't here, but when we talk about a virtual dinner, we do have several people who aren't very good cooks. And so they get people to come to their dinner virtually and pay the money so they don't have to eat their cooking.
Okay, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good fundraising effort there too, and no cleanup.
Give me $35,
right?
$35, and you don't have to eat my food.
Right.
There you go. Is that the donation price this year is in terms of that? Because I know that there's sort of a minimum donation to get you the ticket to the soiree and so forth.
And that's a $35. Although we welcome any donation. Obviously we understand that some people just can't afford the $35, and so any donation is welcome.
Right.
Aunt Rita's philosophy has always tried to be the organization that anybody can participate in our events. So we try to price them at a level that encourages participation from everyone.
And that's really good too, in the fact of that what we talk about and what this is going towards, and what the people that are being served, the work that Aunt Rita's does is HIV and AIDS is an equal opportunity virus and disease.
Yes,
so we have to reach out and accept and embrace everyone.
Well, and the statistic that I talk about, which to me just boggles my mind, and this was from 2009, we don't have any newer numbers, that African Americans are 14% of the overall U.S. population, but accounted for 44% of the new infections, most of them being women. And it's just, it's a shocking statistic, and I think people are so comfortable making this disease somebody else's disease.
Yes.
And it isn't. It is all of our disease.
Right. And that's one of the things that people need to realize, recognize, and be a part of.
Absolutely. And the need has never been greater, because as things have changed at the state level, people have been kicked off of access of the state health program. Those people living with HIV are now turning to the Ryan White program, which has a fixed number of dollars. And so as the Ryan White Planning Council determines how those dollars are spent, healthcare is number one. Mm-hmm. So what happens is things like the food box program has gone away. They're no longer funding that. They're no longer funding HIV/AIDS Law Project, which provides free wills, powers of attorney. That funding has gone away.
Really?
I didn't know
and
that.
This is probably in the past year or so, or even shorter than that, because of budget cuts and because of all this BS at the government level.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. So they more than ever need funding, and of course we all know that Agape Food Network has gone away, one of our member agencies, and we're very sad to see them go, but they just couldn't remain in business, and so they've closed their doors.
Joshua Tree is still in existence, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. And Agape, did a great job of providing resources to all of their clients, saying here's where you can go. Obviously, Joshua Tree couldn't pick up the difference, and Joshua Tree relies on donations. They don't get any Ryan White funding.
Right.
So they rely on community donations to feed those living with HIV that just simply can't afford to buy food.
Yes, that's it. Things are being affected, and people are infected and affected in so many different ways. A lot of people don't really think about that, whether or not you are battling with the virus or living with AIDS, that whether it's your family or your friends or those that you know through your church or this group or that group, people are going through stuff each and every day because of the way of life right now and the cutbacks, and it really affects us all. So the work that you all do with Aunt Rita's is just amazing, and you should be very proud of that.
Thank you so much. It is a labor of love. There's no doubt.
And I think it really is important that people do know that these cutbacks have occurred, because I think, sometimes people tend to get into their own routine, their own rhythm. We obviously talk about Aunt Rita's on a regular basis. Aunt Rita's has the events. You have the outreach that you kind of do through all the, basically through the events. And people probably at some point sort of tune out the message, like, well, we got to do this, or donate my $25, donate this. But really, I think it's important that people know that, yes, at this point, you should open up the purse strings a little bit more, because these due to our lovely elected officials, people have decided to cut these programs back. And there is a real difference that when things are cut back from the government level, if the private sort of industry, so to speak, doesn't step in, money just doesn't come out of nowhere. I think a lot of people have an idea, well, the government cutbacks, it'll just get dealt with. Somehow it'll just get dealt with. And it doesn't necessarily get dealt with. And organizations like Aunt Rita's you are the only one of such type, I botched that whole thing. You are the only type of organization here in the Valley that does what it does, fundraising for all these individual organizations that don't have the resources to fundraise for themselves necessarily. And that's how Aunt Rita's was formed kind of originally, right? That's
correct. And in the original formation of Aunt Rita's, the funds went directly to those who needed the funding. And again, it was formed back in the Winks days. And they raised money and basically wrote checks to those people that needed the checks to pay their rent,
right?
Whatever it is they needed, the checks were written directly. And of course, then when Aunt Rita's was reborn in 2005 by some of the agencies, then our mission was to strictly raise money so that they would have unrestricted funds, not regulated by the government. Because when you get Ryan White funding, you have to use it in particular ways. And if you have a shortfall over here, you can't take that funding and move it to the shortfall. So our funds are unrestricted and divided equally, which I think is really important. Every agency gets an equal portion. Last year, we I can't speak here. Last year,
it's okay, I can't either.
We returned just under $200,000, and those dollars were divided equally.
So tell the listeners, who are some of the organizations that do benefit?
Well, we basically, we have Joshua Tree that deals with food boxes, HIV/AIDS Law Project, Care Directions, which deals with case management, Phoenix Children's Hospital, the Bill Holt Clinic, which deals with infants that have HIV, Ebony House, which works with the African American community, and of course we have Chicanos por la Causa and Concilio Latino de Salud, who work with the Hispanic community, Native Health, working with the Native American community. So we really try to cover every agency and the entire community with the efforts that we do.
And I think it's really important for people to know that again, this is an effort that and because of the impact on each and every one of us, that you reach out to these groups. And we're talking about even the numbers, the high numbers of African American women that are living with the virus now. And that to me is still about people doing outreach and talking about it and letting people know, because they're the population of African American men inside prisons and coming back out, and whatever has happened when they were inside, like in Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas,
exactly,
and then come back and expose these women to, because in these numbers, most of these women are heterosexual women.
Yes, they are.
And not necessarily IV drug users are drug addicts, but these are women that you're sitting next to in your office, in your church pew on Sundays, and everything else, that you have no true idea of the battles that they're going through. Well,
and and the sad thing is if we're going to talk about HIV, we're going to talk about sex, and we're going to talk about IV drug use to a lesser extent, but we have to have a conversation about sex. And we know that is a difficult conversation that's in any community, but particularly in the African American and the Hispanic community.
Right.
Having a conversation about sex is very, very difficult. But if we don't, we just have to have the conversation.
Right.
And I think in particular, my feeling in the African American community is it has to come from the church. The church has to start talking about this disease. If they don't, it will become an epidemic, if it isn't already, in the African American community. And I think we're seeing some movement in that area.
But it's slow.
It is so slow.
It's slow, Kit. It's slow because the faith communities themselves, and then you're talking about the women and their roles within the faith communities and within the church. So you still have this whole hierarchy. And I could go into the whole nother women's feminist movement, black woman raised down south on that, okay? So, yeah, it's like, I understand what you're saying, and we talk about all communities of color and having those conversations. Right. I said before I started doing the work that I do in my life as an activist, as an advocate, as outreach specialist, and
wise woman warrior
that I am, is that I was always the pink sheep. Because it's like, I'm going to have this conversation. We're going to talk about this because I heard you just say this, and let's go there. But, more and more people need to do that.
I had a wonderful experience. We were invited to an African American church to have a conversation. They did a weekend seminar retreat kind of thing for their parishioners. And I was down there with my wonderful friend R.J. Shannon, who I'm sure
love RJ.
I love R.J.
I love RJ.
We were sitting in the back of the church. I mean, I'll never forget, because to me it's so foreign to hear the minister was the minister's wife was saying that my husband picks out what I wear to church on Sunday.
See?
And I can't just hold up the dress and the pair of shoes. I have to actually put the clothes on for him. But it's okay because I do it on Saturday night, and I may put on 4 or 5 outfits, and then he picks out what I'm going to wear to church, and then I wear it the next morning, and I'm holding on to RJ by the arm because she wants to get up and have a piece of him.
Okay. See, I understand. That's what I said. So I could go to a whole nother realm on that, but we're not going to do that because we only got a little bit of time. But people need to, in all communities, need to become more aware, more vocal, talk about issues. Sex is sex.
And we have to be empowered to say no. We have to be empowered to say, whether you're an African American woman or a white young gay male or whoever you are empowered to say, we are going to have safe sex.
Right.
Period. Or we're not going to have sex.
Right. And what's your status? Do you have your... What was the last time you were tested? People need to have conversations.
And it was interesting. I was listening to some interviews, unfortunately, because I've been so frazzled, I don't remember who it was with. But it was someone that was talking about the over the 30 plus years now of us, of the AIDS crisis going on, that people, there is a sense of people getting into this. They've heard the safe sex thing for so long. They've heard it. They're just like, they're done with it. And there is a little bit of the, I can't think of the word, but people will get lulled into a sense of safety that there is all of these drugs on the market and that you can take them and everything will be fine, and you have the lovely magazine ads of everyone just living their lives. HIV is still not something that you want to get if you can avoid it, along with all of the other little diseases that are not as bad necessarily as HIV, but still you don't want to get any of them. There were some controversial interviews, and I'll add this to the show notes when I find it. We're talking about there are more gay men, and even I think to in the straight community as well, that are sort of trying to make their own definitions of safe sex, because we've heard safe sex all the time of well, you just got to use condoms all the time. And some people are starting to say, well, okay, based on, your knowing your status and your viral loads and your counts and all these things, are there ways of saying, well, there is a 5% risk, or is a far lesser risk of, if it's two HIV guys or if it's a top versus bottom, it's this. And some people, they're actually, what the author was trying to make the point was, if people actually think about it, they're actually thinking about it instead of just throwing caution to the wind and just saying, we're just going to bear back and who cares, it feels great, whatever. They're actually thinking about it, and maybe there is still the chance that you're going to get infected, but it is a lesser chance. And I'm not saying, we're not trying to advocate this, I'm not trying to advocate their point or anything, but it is better to put some thought into it than no thought into it. So I think there are ways to define what safe sex is. You think about, there's a lot of different, you think about safe sex, and obviously we can talk about sex. There's a number of different sexual practices that don't involve insertion, that don't involve the place that the sun doesn't shine, things like that, that are safer. It's still sex, but there's ways of having that human intimate connection without just automatically thinking, oh, we're going to have sex, we have to use condoms, because that's it. And I think people need to have the conversations between themselves and their partners or hookup buddies or whatever it is, than just throwing caution to the wind and saying, we're not going to do anything.
Well, and in this statistic in Arizona, the CDC estimates that 25% of the HIV population, and it's clear that you understand that, the people living with HIV, 25% do not know they're positive.
And that's
so
the big
if you
problem,
no pun intended, back into that number
right.
In Arizona, that means over 4,600 people are positive and don't know it. And they're not in care, so their viral loads are through the roof. And we also know that if you get into care and you bring your viral load down to undetectable, your chances of transmitting the disease drop by 80%, which is amazing. But that's still a chance. It's still a chance. Right. So, and it's still an unacceptable chance. So, safe sex is really the only way to go. But the whole point is, these 4,600 people don't know they have the disease and are not acting accordingly.
They're the real danger.
They're the real danger.
Right. And taking in that aspect too, and talking about those who don't know that they have it, and are you statistically, are we seeing that people are still not going back for results after being tested? Do you know anything on that? Statistically on that,
I don't know that they're not. I think if they take that step to get tested, I think they take the step to get the results, because anymore it's confidential. It's not anonymous. So when you go in to get a test, they are going to they're going to have your name and your phone number.
Right.
They're going to have a way of contacting you if you turn up positive. Now, it is confidential. I mean, that information is not shared. And it is private, but it is no longer anonymous as it used to be. And I'm concerned, frankly, about the home testing kits that are now available.
Oh, yes.
Because I think, HIV, when you're told you have HIV, it is so overwhelming that if you're sitting in your living room all by yourself and your kit turns out, you have the potential of freaking. You have the potential of throwing the kit away and saying, I'm not going to deal with this.
Right.
And you don't have somebody sitting across from you encouraging you to do the right thing and to get into treatment and to get into care and to notify the partners that you've been with. You don't have anybody giving you that guidance. You're just there by yourself.
Just there with a pamphlet, which doesn't really. I mean, it's great that they're enabling the home testers for those who would be super responsible with it, and they're not cheap. But still, I of course, I definitely see your point.
Yeah, that's a point I really hadn't thought about that, because it is having had the experience of being with people as they were told the results, and I am just humbled that I was there, but if I hadn't been there at that moment, it could have been a totally totally different response, because you need somebody to look at, to hold your hand, to say, okay, let's see where we go from here.
Right. It's devastating, as I well know. When you're told, it's devastating, and you need someone there to tell you that you're not a bad person, because that's the first thing you think,
Right.
a horrible person.
Right.
And that in general, things are going, if you do the right, again, we don't want to prescribe this as, hey, everything's fine. But in general, most people are living much better lives, obviously, than decades ago.
Absolutely.
It's a manageable disease. You don't want it, but it's a manageable disease. And speaking of that, I know that Aunt Rita's Foundation is not a clinical testing service. They do not develop drugs. They do not develop all this. So I'm sure, if you guys had the funding, you'd probably love to do that. But I know that there were some trials, and there were some vaccine trials done a few months ago. There was some actually very positive news. It was sort of on accident that they had combined some of these vaccines together, and the rate, even though we would like a vaccine that would be that would work 99% of the time, but I think they got it up to, say, it was 30 or 40% effective, which was way more than had been done. I would assume the outlook continues to get better, that 5-10 years from now, as we get more testing with vaccines, we get better computer modeling and whatnot, that we are on the road to beating this, right?
Well, I would like to say I hope you're correct. There are some interesting things that are happening, but I haven't seen anything yet that has gotten me truly excited that I see the end of this disease. Because right now I don't see the end of it. And I know that they have been also, one of the things that they've been doing is advocating taking Truvada, which is an HIV medication, as a prophylactic. So if I'm negative and I take Truvada, which is hard on your body, it's not a good drug.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive. HIV drugs are not easy on your body.
Right.
So, I find that difficult to support as well.
Yeah, I read that, and I thought about it. Well, I guess maybe if you, I don't know if you're allergic to condoms. I don't know, use saran wrap or something, but I don't know. Use the female one, right?
Okay, right.
I mean, at the end of the day, if there's a problem, then you got to deal with it. But that, again, it's like, yeah, the drugs are not good for you.
No,
I mean, it's not.
No.
It's
They're very hard on your body.
Right. All right, we're going to take you back now. We're in studio today.
We're in studio. We're
And
live on
we're
video.
live on video, and we have in studio with us today, and I'm going to get it this time because I remember how you told me to say it, and it is Kit Kloeckl.
Kloeckl.
See, I was close.
Kloeckl, right?
Yeah,
Kloeckl.
Kind of
Okay.
like, I mean, not like a
Freckle.
clucking
This is
chicken, but I mean, right?
Freckle. Okay. And we're talking about Aunt Rita's and Savor for Life, and everyone should, if you haven't gotten your tickets already for the big event, plan your own. Check out what your friends have got going on. If someone's hosting a dinner or attend a dinner that's somewhere out there. And we know that there are public events, too, that people have coming up, besides for the one that was just held by Tico's,
right?
Right, and Coronado.
Yes, you obviously, when you go to the website, if you choose to host a dinner, you choose to make your dinner public or private. Most people, unless you're some agencies have open lunches that they make the event public. Most people make it private because they don't want people in their home
Right.
that they don't know. Interestingly, we visited with a very nice lady yesterday who lives in Scottsdale who has made her event public, and she has chosen. She can't speak here. She has chosen to do that.
Wow.
And, we now, are you aware that people can go online and register for your dinner, and you may not know them? Yeah, I know that. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So I'm
more
pretty
power to
proud
you.
of her.
All
In fact, I
right.
was thinking about registering for a dinner to go out and meet her and congratulate her.
That's
You
really,
should.
that's nice. That's nice. So, and for people again who are probably listening from outside of the Phoenix area, Aunt Rita's is a 501(c)(3).
C3.
correct?
Yes,
C3.
C3.
And they raise money for lots of organizations throughout the Valley, Central Arizona HIV organizations, and so please support them. And they do some great work.
And it's our event coming up, which we can tout our own little event, is going to be a fundraiser. It is our event, which is the grand opening of the QTalk America studios and the launch of our secondary business, Post PC Recording Studios, which is Tuesday night, March 26th. We are going to, it is a free event, but we encourage you, where it'll be registered as a dinner, and we encourage you to go ahead and donate, make those $35 minimum donations to get over to the soiree. If you're already going to the soiree, fine. Donate another $35 or more. Kit would love you. We'll have Kit will be here and he'll ring a bell for every time we get $35.
There you go. There you go.
Or Clayton, and you know what? Well, Clayton and Marnie and them all, they have all those bells. We could do that every time someone drops the thing, and they'll on their show to ring the bells.
They could do it.
But anyways, it's going to be a wonderful event. We will have some catering by Cafeteria on Thomas, which the name sounds strange, but they really have fantastic food.
I love them. That's my new favorite place.
It is fantastic. So we'll have that. We're going to have some door prizes. 10 United is helping us out with that. We'll have some wine and champagne. It will start at 5:30, like we said, Tuesday night. I guess I could put it up on the screen, but it would cover up Kit. So anyways, we scrambled to get this together. But anyhow, Tuesday night, March 26th, it'll start about 5:30. And, I want to try and get the mayor here, but I don't know if we can pull that off.
Okay.
Anyhow.
And then we'll have a live studio audience as well for the show with Clayton McKee.
Which starts at 7. So the new, the portion of the studio that people have seen bits of, if we went to the wide shot... here you go.
Go for it.
If you go to the wide shot behind Kit, what is behind the window is what we call Studio A, which is a mess right now. It is being converted to the Studio A lounge. Katie June and a few of us are kind of coming up with this sexy lounge idea.
Fix it up.
Yeah, so you'll be able to be in there, and then we'll have speakers, and this monitor over here is actually going to be mounted up behind us, so you'll be able to see what we're actually sending out to the stream. And check it out and eat, drink, and be merry. Or as we say on that one food show, eat, drink, and be fabulous.
Okay,
So anyways, we're really encouraging people to get out there. We'll have the Facebook event published this weekend. It's going to be a great event. It is not, even though it's close, it's not one of the official 10 Days of Pride. I'm calling it one of the 11 Days of Pride. But anyways, and we're always happy to support Aunt Rita's because... Well, heck, I've been involved with you guys on some level for 5 years now.
Absolutely.
So,
and the soiree is going to be on Friday, April 12th.
Right.
At the Phoenix Art Museum. With our wonderful partners. Avea, formerly the Apothecary Shop, has always been a marvelous sponsor. But
I do have a slide for that. There it is.
Our good friends... the Whoopie Baking Company they are the official baker to Aunt Rita's.
Wonderful.
And they will be providing whoopie pies to everyone attending.
That stuff is like crack.
They're addictive.
They are.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And you know what's great about them? We can plug them because my new day job moved over to 24th and Camelback. They have a little mini store in the Biltmore Fashion Park on the east end, this Union thing. They have a little mini shop. It's half the size of our studio.
Wow.
Whoopie pies, yeah. It's so cool. You can get them anytime you want now.
They are addicting.
You want to go to the soiree, which, again, Friday, I'm reading on the screen, Friday, April 12th, and SAVORlifephoenix.org is your central nexus of all that stuff.
And if you can buy a ticket directly to the event online. So if you can't attend a dinner and enjoy somebody's great food, you can still come to the soiree.
Have you found, I guess, because I know originally, when this was launched, what was this? Was it 08, 09? 09 was the first one?
No, it actually launched in 05. It was when the organization came back, it was the very first event.
It was the first thing. Okay. Yes. So, but it's gained steam, it's gained popularity definitely over the past couple of years. What, I guess the question is, have you seen a difference in people actually not attending the dinners necessarily and attending more of the soiree. They want to go to the big party. They're obviously going to have to pay and still getting the donations. Has that? My brain is always wondering about these facts and figures.
Actually, the good news is, for the most part, it is people that attend dinners, which is really good. I mean, we certainly want everybody to come to the soiree that wants to attend, but the fact that they're attending a dinner, I think, is more important. And if I can say one last thing,
please do.
If you host a dinner and you raise $300, we are giving away 2 iPad minis at the soiree.
Okay.
So there will be 2 drawings. And you need not be present to win. So if you can't attend the soiree, your name will be in the hat. And the only people that are exempt are myself and the board of directors.
And CJ.
And CJ, yes.
Wow, that's wonderful, though. And again, it's because of the great work that you all do that, we are honored to have you in here with us again today. People need to get out, support, no matter where you come from, what you do, get out there and eat.
It really is. And something, for people who are listening, because we know we now have people who listen to us regularly from overseas, and they have no connection here at all except with QTalk America. And we thank you for constantly for tuning in and checking us out. The main thing also is support your local Aunt Rita's, I would say the Aunt Rita's chapter, but you guys haven't gone international yet. So one day, right?
You never know.
You never know. There are... Here's a question. What's an example of, because obviously you guys know other people in the industry. What's another sort of Aunt Rita's like organization that's like maybe around the country that helps out? Is there another one that's kind of structured that actually it does the bulk of the fundraising and it pushes those out to those local organizations?
I'm not aware that there is another Aunt Rita's Foundation, if you will, that strictly raises funds. A lot of times it is the major HIV organization in a certain community that are actually providing services, where other than education and awareness, which has been added to our mission statement.
Right.
And again, I would encourage everybody to go to hivaz.org.
That's right. That's
which is our new connection. Yes. And I know one time we were going to sit in and have a conversation about that.
We were going to do a whole.
But it is launched, and it is a resource site. It is a connector resource. So if you're negative and you need to know where there's low cost testing, you put in your zip code and it tells you where to go get tested. It connects you to all HIV services in Arizona. And it is a free resource for everyone.
HIVAZ.org.
Correct.
Yes, didn't have a slide for that one, but that's okay.
That's
Next
okay.
time
I'll put it up and we'll put the connection on the show notes. That's for sure. That's for sure. So let's talk about some news though for a minute, people. Let's change. Let's.
There was a little thing that happened this week.
Just a few things in here in the States. So I said let's talk about some stuff going on. First of all, Phoenix this week and the Orpheum.
Amazing.
Okay.
Fantastic. The outcome.
Super fragilistic expialidocious. Okay. Can we say, and for those that don't know what we're talking about, Phoenix passed the Anti-Discrimination. See, none of us can talk today. Okay.
At all.
Phoenix passed the Anti-Discrimination Ordinance for LGBT and disabled. And there were some of the most passionate speeches this week. And I'll say from both sides. But we as a community, we as a people, I was proud.
Was it recorded anywhere? Because I couldn't attend, and I just felt sort of helpless in a way.
It was a live stream. I watched a live stream of it. It was a live stream of it from like Channel 5. I think it was. I bet
Phoenix recorded it though.
Yeah, I bet it's a podcast on a podcast or someone recorded it.
I would like to see that.
But it was amazing because people dog us out living here in Arizona, and that we're still in cowboy land and things are a little bit backwards, and we know that some things are. But that said to me right there that we're making some steps forward. things are happening positively, and that was a great day.
It was a
really
great day, and to have our Mayor Stanton, stand up for what he believes is right and not worry about political fallout.
Right.
And saying, I'll do what's right for this community and what's right for the gay community and what's right for the disabled community. It's amazing.
Yes.
We truly have an amazing mayor.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Very proud of him.
He's got to run for governor when
Yes,
his
very
whole
proud of
term
him.
thing is done.
Yes.
Well, I said that I happened to be with Nicole, who was a sponsor of our Red Brunch, and I happened to be with her, and I just heard on public radio they were putting out names for governor, and they had put out the mayor's name.
Yep.
And I said, I understand that they're talking about the mayor running for governor. She says, would you just let him be the mayor for a while?
See?
He's only been the mayor for a year, a few months, right?
Isn't that something? That's
No,
something.
he really is very, very supportive, and he's largely continuing the work that Phil Gordon had started, and he's it's a good time to be in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. It's a good time because we know that there's obviously there's sometimes you take a step forward and you take a step back, or whatever that phrase is, but it felt good because I know I was sitting here. I had shot some footage for The Agenda, which is our political show. Wednesday nights at 7:30 local time or 6:30 Pacific.
Okay.
If you like LGBT politics and news stuff, I was chit-chatting with them last week after their show because I was shooting some footage for promo. And they were, some of us were genuinely worried. The bathroom bill, this. Are we going to get it through
that kills
against
me.
all those crazies out there? And I was so, and this meeting, the hearing, the city council meeting went on for what, 6 hours, 5-6 hours?
It was for a bit.
And so I was very happy that eventually saw that, yes, it's going to pass. Oh, it passed. And in fact, I think it was right. It was Tuesday night, right? It was Tuesday. Yeah, because
Yes.
they I think they had the announcement right on Clayton's show as kind of it went forward. Kind of like when they were doing the election coverage, which was kind of cool. But I was very happy that it went forward because it, you feel that, okay, if it gets shot down again, but now it's there.
Yeah.
And I do need to put a disclaimer in
Yes.
that my views are my personal views and not the views of Aunt Rita's Foundation,
Thank
which
you.
is a 501c3.
Right.
And we are not political in any sense of the word. So these were my personal views that
Yes.
I just
There
expressed.
Thank you. So, Joe, what else? What else happened in the news this week? What was on your what?
What was on my radar?
What
I haven't
was
even
on
talked
your
about.
radar?
I don't even know. I look at my notes here on my micro iPad because I sold mine. Oh, I can't wait.
I know. Can you believe that? Okay. I normally had paper and sheets and look now in front of me.
Right, and you have the tablet and I don't.
I've got the tablet today and I have my iPhone and I'm like doing this. Who would
You
have
were doing it.
Who
Who
would have
would have
thought
When
that
we
this-
were over at Dr. Dina's place
Right.
and in my apartment.
in your apartment that I would be doing this now.
Can you remember when we did this stuff in
I
my...
remember when we were in his apartment. You weren't. You were connected by video.
Video,
Oh, that's
right?
right, yep.
That
Yes,
was the
I
first thing.
Skyped in. Yes,
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh my
See?
goodness! And
look-
remember when you and I and Glenn in our first apartment,
Yes.
sat down. I think it was after brunch or whatever it was. Oh, how we
Isn't
have
that
come
something?
along, right?
Oh my goodness! Look how we've grown.
We have grown.
We have grown.
So I want to talk a little bit. I don't actually have anything else in the news because I've been so frazzled. But I had my own news this week, which
Okay.
I just want to sort of state as, if I can even just find the persistent and hard work pays off, comma, finally. As I've been blurting about for the past couple months, in terms of the various ventures that I have been going and racing on this life path for 150,000 miles an hour, apparently, that sometimes when you do things, you may do things subconsciously that help you later in life. You may be internally screaming out to say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I've got to make a change. And you launch things, you start things subconsciously that help you out. And thus, starting a media organization, heavily integrated into social media. Now we're on video, audio, podcasts everywhere, people finding us around the globe. albeit not by the thousands, but we're on a slow growth, and I'm fine with that. That has helped me make a career change in the day job that helps to fund all of this. And the sort of, I posted to Facebook, I don't know what it was. It was sort of this very strange sort of subliminal thing. It was kind of like there is hope among the despair. And that's been my week of finding out that this career change that I've wanted to make, I get to make it, which is the linchpin that removes a lot of this, I would say, sort of toxic stuff going on. Because when you go to a job, when you've done a career for so long and it's boring, you want to cry when you're tasked with another project that you just can't bear to do, and you finally get the green light to say, you don't have to do that anymore. You can be creative, you can do the stuff that you want to do, and all these other backup plans that you had just in case all of this didn't work, you don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
Your planning worked. And I also found out recently that we found out where my electric car is. It's not going to be another month delayed. It's only about 2 weeks. So there's a lot of things that I am really thankful for the persistence to move things forward, no matter what the odds, biking around town, possibly getting run over by cars, all of these things that I've been doing for the past 6 months, including continuing to build QTalk and launching us on video to push us out there, has paid off. And I'm just like, woohoo.
Kudos to you, and you didn't include getting slammed around on the light rail in that, in that whole little bit. But
either that or getting on the light rail, and you just want a moment of. I mean, I'm someone that I enjoy my privacy, but I also enjoy being out in public and doing things and all that. But sometimes, when you get on the train, you expect to just have a nice ride, and then the next stop someone gets on, and it's a screaming bunch of women who are all on like their own little bar tour, and there's 30 of them. This was a couple weeks ago. And they're just screaming their heads off. And I'm just like, please get off at the next stop. Luckily, they did 2 stops down. But it's just like, oh, my goodness. And I understand. I can say this now. And I really understand because we're a car culture in Phoenix. There was actually a recent article done about someone who was very much into wanting to be in this car culture and in this kind of like, downtown and urban design. And she gave up and left and moved to Portland. And I mean, some people do. I mean, at the end of the day, but I understand after giving up my car and having to deal with public transit only and biking and rides from friends and giving up a lot of the things that I can't do because I just can't get there because the buses don't run late enough and things like that. I understand the frustration of people who don't have cars. And even Zipcar, which is a good option if you rent it enough times during a month, you're going to equal a car payment anyways. So I think I've put myself through enough hell, and now it's like, okay.
Well, in the words of Joe, persistence and hard work pays off. Finally. That's what you said. Congratulations, sweetie.
And my thing to our listeners and viewers, I think it's important to sort of to kick yourself in the ass sometimes, and to also live a little bit differently than you're used to living, and challenge yourself and actually do it.
Okay, then.
And I'm off my soapbox for the moment.
Okay, then. But that's good. People need to hear that sometimes it's, and we talked about this, we are still at the beginning of the year. We're in March, and, we're into 2013 now, really sort of getting along, that
it's
very
March.
short.
It's beautiful outside, 80 degrees now. Spring is slowly starting.
But we have to realize that those of you who do make New Year's resolutions, or you do have New Year's intentions, this is
as
the
Babe
time,
would say.
This is the time of the year that you really should be kicking them into gear and making those changes.
Because you can easily forget about them after, January, February.
Yep, you can do it, and a lot of people have said, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do this, but whatever you're going to do, it is about change and making that step to make change.
And the old saying, they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes, see?
Good one, Ken. I like
That's
it.
good.
Nicely inserted there.
That's good there. That's a great segue. I love that. Again, you're listening to QTalk America.
And watching
And that's right, listening and
Not
watching.
just
I
listening
forgot.
and watching.
Hi.
I know. Hi.
Let me say hi to the cameras. Hi.
That's right.
Okay, because you all know I love a mirror and the cameras. Okay, so if you all didn't know that, you all will learn. Okay, you will learn. Because Joe gives me a hard time all the time about coming in dressed into the studio, and it's just usually him and I, but what the heck, what the heck.
Now it's us and the rest of the world.
I know, that's it.
These
but,
episodes will be on as we continue to ramp up, and we're finishing the rollout this month, probably by the end of not next week, but next week. We will be rolling out video to the rest of the shows. We went through sort of as Clayton said, he was randomly picked. No, we picked him on purpose because he had the most popular show, and and he had the most complicated show. So we got through that, and now we can successfully roll it out to all the other shows. We know that there are some bugs. We know that when we're on full, we use this tri-shot or the quad shot a lot because our cameras don't have optical zoom, so doing virtual zoom tends to make it a little fuzzy. We're aware of that. The system that we actually purchased is extremely upgradable and flexible, so even though we're starting very, very simple, we have the ability to do video Skype interviews and all kinds of cool stuff that we're going to launch probably late April. We have to kind of calm down a little bit, and we'll probably get some better cameras maybe around that time as well. So we're just in the beginning of the year, just like Babe was saying. We have our own New Year's resolutions and intentions here at QTalk, and there's a whole lot of stuff that's out there and slated to launch in the next 8 to 10 months, and we're just getting started.
Right. But remember, you can catch us each week live at noon
Pacific, although that's about to change because the rest of the world is about to go into daylight savings time.
But you can always get us on Facebook, Twitter, and at the website. Email us too if you've got suggestions or ideas for Joe and I at joeandbabe@QTalkAmerica.com. For comments, or leave us a voicemail at 888-791-9294. That's 888-791-9294.
And takes voicemails, and like she said, the email address. Get a hold of us.
Get a hold of us. Let us know what's going on. Again, we've got Kit in the studio with us today from Aunt Rita's, and we've been talking up the Savor for Life event, but also the fact of that people get involved and help out your local agencies that are helping your other local agencies to continue to do what they do. And Aunt Rita's Foundation is doing wonderful work in that avenue. So check them out, AuntRita'sFoundation.org.
And SAVORlife
SAVORlife.Phoenix.org.
What's the next? I know you and I had a chit chat because we hadn't chit chatted for like a long time, like I don't know, like a month ago or something like that. You were mentioning, and maybe it's secret, we can't say it. You were mentioning that there might be another event being added to the lineup. Can you speak on that? Do you know people familiar with the matter?
I can speak briefly about it, and that is. The event will be a summer event, and it will be called Red is the Night. And it will be a fundraising event, but the purpose of this event is really to talk about our education and awareness campaign, and there will be something very exciting announced that night. So we're pretty excited about.
And I think it helps you guys get through that summer, lull, because now you've got SAVORlife, you've got the summer event, you've got the walk, which we didn't really get to chat after the walk, but thank you for pushing it back 2 weeks. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic. And even though, and I'm switching organizations to another organization for my day job, but if they're not involved, I'm going to get them involved. Always happy to help out. And then of course you had the Red Brunch, which was on World AIDS Day in December. So you really have the whole calendar filled out now.
That's correct. We now have an event for each season.
That's what I was going to say, for each season. That's really wonderful.
Pick out your wardrobe.
And we're really, what my personal goal is the education and awareness side, and CJ is more and more taking over the event side. We know, you can turn on television and radio and open a newspaper and not hear a word about HIV. And if we aren't going to talk about it, we aren't going to prevent it. So Aunt Rita's goal, my goal, is to have a sustained education and awareness campaign that is funded, that will stay on until this disease is gone.
Again, communication, education, that's what we've got to do. We got to talk about it. We got to let people know what's going on. Again, we've been honored today to have the executive director of Aunt Rita's Foundation in the studio with us, and thanks for being here with us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Really appreciate that. I was trying to think, there was something else. For those of you who don't know, and since it is such a beautiful afternoon today, you should check out the Melrose 7th Avenue Street Fair. It's going on, I think, till about 6 o'clock.
I think 5.
5 o'clock this
5.
afternoon, and it's a beautiful day. I see people out biking and walking up and down the street. They got a wonderful car show down there, and
It's a lovely event.
right. And there were women out there from the roller derby.
Oh.
So you should go check that out. Not that I'm like promoting going to gawk at women, but I'm just
We
saying.
know what's
okay,
up with that.
So go check that out. And
Well, I just came from there, and it's marvelous people watching, no matter who you want to watch.
right, and food.
And
Lots
great
of food.
Yes,
folks,
I'm
and
just down
fun.
from food.
Yes,
It smells so good.
Yes, and lots of food.
So if you're local here and you're listening or watching live, yes, get out of your house.
Right.
Go over there.
And go do something
7th
outside
Avenue between
today.
Indian School and what is it, like Campbell, I think?
Campbell.
I think Campbell, yes.
All the way down to
Take the
Campbell.
train. Don't take your
Right.
car. Make it easier to park and all that good stuff. So,
And
babe, we're like
I guess
out
I got
of time.
Yeah, well, we got
Oh,
a bit
you
of
got-
babe.
you got a bit of
of babe. It's quick, easy, and in the terms of talking about what Aunt Rita does and what you do, Kit. I want people to know this is the thought, a bit of babe today. The big miracles we're waiting on are happening right in front of us at every moment with every breath. That's from Lady O, Oprah Winfrey.
Wow.
She's always so good.
That's it.
And she's right.
Right.
She
Every
is.
day. All the time. Great week, Joe. Good show.
It's been a good show. It's good to be back. I always say that QTalk has been a process. It's been a challenge to start up and really get running over the past couple of years. But you know what? We just love to come into the studio and do these shows.
Yeah. We
It's
do
just
it.
great.
It's just, we like what we
We've
do.
got 25 plus people involved with QTalk America now, and I'm going to include that in my little speech at the at our event. But really, that's the biggest gift of having people come to us and seeing us as the platform and wanting to do their own shows within the network.
Right.
So it's awesome. Kit,
Okay.
thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. As always, it's great to know that Aunt Rita's continues to grow and add more events. And soon you're going to have one like every month. But Kit will go crazy. Or CJ will go crazy. But
Yes.
anyways, and thank you, listeners and watchers and viewers, I guess that would be. I have to get the terminology down right. And babe, thank you so much for being here when I wasn't here.
You know?
And we got Clayton and you had Dixie and
Right. I got your back.
you got my back and I got your back.
Okay, then.
We're
All
good.
right.
Well, we got to get out of here. Thank you so much. Check out QTalkAmerica.com for all of the episodes and all of our live shows, all 9 of them now. And we'll talk to you next week.